I had tremendous opposition, but I never went into a fight. I would only leave that place and go to the other place. But I continued to do what God had called me to do. And when you're continuing to do, you won't get the permission to do. So when you don't get the permission to do there, you find another place where there is nobody there and start doing your job over there. But don't you quit. And if, for me, I was not given the permission, so I left the city. I went to some other city. But I never slowed down. Let me tell you, I never slowed down. In other words, I began to study more and more of the word and began to teach people even more than before. And what I began to do that by preaching the little prayer and the little faith that I learned, and I began to teach others. In no time, I found that more and more people were getting delivered. So what I saw happening in a small way, I began to do it even more than before. And I began to see it is growing and multiplying and the fire is catching. And now with what is happening at this moment, people are now understanding that every one of us can do it. Because this measure of faith is given to every born again Christian. But the problem is when we got born again, there was nobody to teach us the truth. All that was taught is you come after me and you depend on me and I will pray and you will get it. That's not the gospel. The gospel is that you are supposed to be introduced to Jesus and a relationship between you and Jesus, not the preacher. It is you discovering your relationship with Jesus and your inheritance that you need to download it yourself for yourself. And when the person begins to learn through the scriptures that it is my inheritance, that's why God gave us these great and precious promises, that through these promises, you might be the partaker of his divine nature. And what's the second one? That you are able to escape from every corruption that is in the world through lust. So how are you going to escape? Not with somebody praying over. That's a jump start. Jump start can never give you freedom. Your freedom is when you dig into the Bible, or when somebody gives you those great and exceeding great and precious promises, you take a hold on those promises and you make them your own. You begin to study them. You begin to plant them. You begin to treasure them in your heart. You begin to speak them. You begin to practice them. You begin to live with them. Those very great and exceeding promises of God will set you free.